A King and a Court of Fools by H. Ryan. Written by Larry Enright and read by Larry Enright. Copyright 2011, all rights reserved. A new place. Tom and I filled the Isley's bag with pop bottles and turned them in at Gracie's corner store before going home. 24 cents is nothing to sneeze at. We got home too late for lunch, but both of us, for different reasons, said no to Mom's offer to make us a chipped ham sandwich. The others were waiting for us in the side yard at the swing set after we got changed. Kate and Mary were swinging. Sam was standing in front of them, curving the bill of his pirate cap, working the fabric-covered cardboard between his fingers to make it stay in the right position. This is how Dick Groat does it. See? Kate, are you watching? Yes, Sam, I'm watching. You got to get it just right, and tilt it up on the left so you can see first base. You don't want your cap in the way when you throw to first base. Dad said that would be a disaster. Who's Dick Groat? What kind of funny name is that? Mary asked. She and Kate were trying to see who could swing the highest. He's only the Pirates' shortstop. In case you didn't know, he and Dad went to the same high school in Swissvale. I'm going to be the Pirates' shortstop someday. Tom pushed the cap down over Sam's eyes. You got the short part down, Pat. Hey, Tom, stop. And there you have it, sports fans. A short stop. Very funny, Tom. Thanks for messing up my hat. Sam started over, folding the cap bill without creasing it, curving it just the way he wanted it. You should wear it like Harry's, Tom said. I never folded my cap. Never thought to fold my cap, and it was nearly flat across the front. Who wears it like that? Sam asked. Tom lay down on his back in the grass and looked up at the afternoon sky. Thick, puffy white clouds dotted the bright blue expanse, slowly crossing eastward, forming shapes, animals, faces, and other things. A cricket jumped onto his stomach. One of the outfielders, he finally said. Kate and Mary gave up their little contest, and gravity slowed their swings to a lazy back and forth. I watched the cricket chewing tobacco. He was deciding which way to hop next. Sam looked at his hat, pondering uncurling it and starting over. Which one? Tom sat up, and the cricket jumped away toward the woods. Left out. Get it? Left out. He got up and chased the cricket, heading toward the trail into the woods. We fell in behind him. Jokes aren't funny if you have to explain them, Tom, Kate said. I know you are, but what am I? What's that supposed to mean? Kate sounded mad, but Tom never let that get in the way of irritating one of us. He repeated her words back at her in a sing-song. What's that supposed to mean? Shut up. No, you shut up. I ran in front of them and stopped, letting them know with my best imitation of Mary doing Mom's parental finger of doom that I was not happy. Now, children, you stop that right now. Kids ride a roller coaster of emotions. One minute they are crying from a skinned knee, the next they are laughing and playing again, doing exactly what gave them the skinned knee in the first place. They can go from love to hate and back to love again in a single sentence. They argue, they fight, they share, they play, and one little thing, one act of unkindness, is made up for and forgotten in an instant, and never spoken of or thought of again. It's not until people get older that we let the bad things begin to pile up and become harder to push out of the way. We followed the path to where it met up to the main trail, laughing and imitating Mom and Dad scolding us for things we'd done. Tom fixed Sam's hat so it was perfect for a shortstop. He even offered to make mine into a pitcher's cap, but I liked it the way it was. I didn't mind playing left out. Watching baseball was more fun than playing it anyway. You should have asked Bonnie to come along, Kate said. I did. She's busy. Did you kiss her? Mary asked when we'd gotten to where the trails intersected. Me? Heck no. Tom studied the path to the left and to the right, listening and watching. A flock of geese honked above the woods, traveling southwest in V formation ahead of the coming winter. Before long all this would be snow-covered, and the woods would become our home for our winter adventures. A rustling across the grassy field drew Tom's attention. He tossed a small rock in that direction, and a pheasant burst out of hiding, trying to draw us away from the others who were waiting motionless in the brush. Somewhere, a woodpecker was tapping away, searching for bugs hiding in the bark of a tree. But she kissed you, Mary said. I already washed it off. Besides, why would I kiss her? Girls like that, in case you didn't know. Girls like a lot of things, like dresses, but that doesn't mean I'm going to wear one. Kate bumped into him, accidentally on purpose, and giggled. You look cute in a dress. Tom mockingly repeated back what she had said, and Sam moaned, Here we go again. Kate laughed. Did you at least hold hands? Tom pretended to vomit into his hand and tossed it at her. Oh, that is just gross. Mary looked like she was really going to throw up. Tom started off toward the cherry tree. We should let the others know where we're going. Come on, let's go. Maybe we should wait for them. I don't like the idea of going to the Finnertys alone. You worry too much, Kate. We'll be okay. Who's the one who always says strength in numbers? I don't know. Who? You! You always say that. This is different. This is a secret mission. It's another dumb idea. Sam jumped in between them. Geez, can we not do this again, you two? We need a plan if we're going on a secret mission. We need to start building our clubhouse, Mary corrected him. But before we do that, we need to decide where. Our return to the tree brought back the awful memories of our first sight of it after the storm. The piece of trunk with the king's limb and most of the branches we used to sit on was still lying on the ground in a circle of blackened grass. Tom ran his hand over the bark of what was left of the broken tree. The Ryans weren't big on pets, so we had no real experience yet with the death of a loved one, at least not until now, not something this big, and we had no guidance on how to react. We were on our own to decide how best to handle our grief. The woodpecker we had heard was still sitting on a maple watching us, unable to decide if it should continue its hunt for bugs in a hole in the trunk about 20 feet up, or fly from danger. Our lack of interest and a tiny creature's movement made up the bird's mind, and it went back to tapping on the tree. Tom pulled a note from his pocket, lifted up a rock by the base of the tree, and slid the paper under it. If the others show up, they'll get the message. Let's get out of here. Kate grabbed him by the arm. What about the plan? I have a plan. We go to the Finnertys, you guys wait outside, and I go in and make sure the car's still there. Then we tell the Pink Lady. That's not a plan, that's suicide. What kind of secret mission is that? Sam asked. There's no sneaking, no crawling, no hiding, no nothing. Tom kicked the fallen tree, chipping off a piece of bark. He picked it up and put it in his pocket. I'll be okay. I can outrun all of them. The argument continued. I wandered off down a path that went west into an area we rarely explored and knew little about, a forest of white birches with wild eastern teaberry bushes growing in the few spots where the sun was able to penetrate the tree's thick canopy. I picked one of the red berries and crushed it in my fingers, releasing the smell of Aunt Lucy's favorite chewing gum. We all liked the smell of her teaberry gum, but only Sam liked the taste of it. We preferred juicy fruit. The leaves had not yet changed colors here, and few had fallen. It was so quiet, I found myself tiptoeing across the carpet of moss so I wouldn't disturb the tree's muted rustling song. I came to a ribbon of clear, cold water murmuring across the path, flowing north into a deeper forest. A deer was drinking from the stream farther up, the first I had seen in the woods that year. Its white tail twitched, its ears straightened up, and it bounded off just before I heard Kate calling for me. She appeared on the path, followed by the others. Harry, you know better than to wander off like that. You had us worried. What were you doing? Once, in a dream, I was standing by Connor Road. Cars were whizzing by, too fast even for that busy street. I had been waiting forever and had to get to school in 5 minutes. But there was no way that was going to happen without making a run for it. The drivers laughed at me and stuck their tongues out. Everyone who drove past said, "Run!" I wanted to run, and I would have, except for a hand on my shoulder. It was my guardian angel. It was Kate. "Nothing," I said. I took her hand and turned her around toward the stream so she could see what I saw. Tom and the others caught up. The 5 of us stood like trees rooted to the moss, looking down the path across the stream at one out-of-place tree among the birches. It seemed to glow in the enveloping filtered sunlight. Its bark was not white and papery like the birches, but a darker brownish gray, smooth and streaked with horizontal lines like little thorn cuts across its skin. Its leaves were not the jagged heart-shaped leaves of the birches either, but were the pointed ovals of a wild cherry, one we had never seen before in all our adventures in the woods. Its trunk was nearly as wide as me, and it grew tall and straight into the birch canopy above. "That's got to be 40 feet tall," Tom said. We approached it slowly, taking in the significance of the singular cherry tree among the birches, its existence a testament to uniqueness. Not as tall as our cherry tree was before the storm, but strong enough to survive in a forest of others not at all like it. A tree displaying rugged and rebellious promise in its rising into the bright sky. A tree shining through the sameness of the beautiful birches. A tree that just might be the gift from our beloved woods to help us through the loss of a cherished old friend. "It's perfect. This will be a great hideout." Tom surveyed the tree from its base, looking up into the branches above. "Looks like it's sticking out the top, too. Pretty soon it'll be taller than all these." "I like it," I said. "It's nice here." "What about our clubhouse? What about all the wood we've collected?" Mary had a point. We had spent many afternoons stockpiling supplies from the trash piles at the houses under construction in our neighborhood. On the other hand, as Sam argued, this was a long way from where we'd hidden everything. Another argument began. Kate took my hand to make sure I didn't wander off again. Finally, Tom called for quiet. "We'll build our clubhouse right here by the tree." With the decision made, Mary moved on to the next item in her orderly mind. "Let's call it birchwood." Tom tested a lower branch and swung up into the tree. It easily held his weight. "Call what birchwood?" "The clubhouse, silly." Sam's idea was, "I say we name it cherrywood after the tree." Tom moved up a branch, and Kate pulled herself up onto the lowest limb. "There are so many white birches here. How about whitewood?" "Secret citadel!" I shouted, realizing too late I had disturbed the other trees. A gust of warm wind rustled the leaves above us, dropping a few at my feet, as if to shush me. "The Superman one?" Sam picked up one of the fallen leaves and dropped it into the stream. It began moving northward, stopping at a rock momentarily, until the force of the water freed it and carried it away. I nodded. "But wasn't that in the mountains?" "Maybe," I replied. "I forget." There were more suggestions, and arguments for and against, but eventually there were no more, and no decision was made. Kate climbed down from the tree. Tom came down a limb and jumped to the ground beside her. He scooped up a handful of the clear water, sipped it, and threw the rest on his face. The silence of the white birches covered us like a warm, comfy blanket on a cold night. The smell of the tea berries was growing stronger and sweeter as the air warmed. We were in another world, a special world. Bubbling and murmuring softly, the stream called to us. We sat beside it, took off our shoes, dipped our feet in its cold waters, and listened to the forest. Tom whispered, "We don't need a name for it. This is our new place."